Hey YouTube. Right, I want to talk about this product, which is essentially a reverse osmosis product. I recently watched a YouTube video about PFAS, or forever chemicals. These are chemicals which are in the environment, which were man-made back in the late 50s, early 60s. They are multiplying in the amount that we're actually consuming, and they are known as the forever chemicals, essentially in our everyday water systems nowadays. The problem is that they actually build up in our major organs, and over time they will actually lead to quite severe cancers. I don't think many people know about them, and I'm worried about it just because they are present in everything nowadays. So there is only a few ways that you can actually remove it. One is you hope your local water authority will actually clean up the water for you, or you actually buy a device like a reverse osmosis device. This one is from Waterdrop. This is their 600 series, and I'm hoping that this thing will actually remove a lot of those chemicals from our water system. So I want to protect our family, I want to protect our pets, and make sure that we're not taking on these chemicals. By the way, these chemicals were made by some very large companies in North America who knew about the problem and who hid the problem. So I would ask you to look up PFAS and PFOS, and look up and see on YouTube the variety of things that these chemicals are actually used in. They're in everyday household products, packaging. They're in Teflon, as I mentioned, and they are now being consumed by us. And the higher the dosage you get, the more likely you are to get cancer from it. And each year, the authorities actually reduce the amount of levels that are actually present in our drinking water because they are continuously worried about these levels. So let me unpackage it. So it has two tabs here, which appear to be what I can pull in theory. Right, let me try and get this one out as well. Okay. So a box within a box, like ever. But here you can see the product. It's essentially reverse osmosis and then two filter systems on it. And it is one of the few that I found will actually remove these particular chemicals. So this is an under the sink device. It's meant to be a home install. I think it's very much a home install in North America, but actually in UK, our plumbing systems aren't quite the same as the North American systems. We don't have typically these flexi cables on our older houses. Maybe the more modern ones have the flexi cables, but we typically don't have that. So instruction manual, as you'd expect, the various pipe work. So this is the bit that I know that isn't going to work in our plumbing system, so I'm going to have to probably get a local plumber to come out and fit this. You have this fitment, which can go and connect into the cold water outlet. We don't have this particular type of plumbing fitment in our under sink setup. But maybe I'll be able to use this particular clamp setup and try another way of doing it. This is the drainage sink part. This is the wastewater, because the reverse osmosis system actually does produce water. looks like we've got some sealing tape. This is the normal plumbing tape that you would use to obviously tighten up the nuts, and then these are also the clips to make sure the connection's inside it. 2 lots of that. Power adapter. Let's see if it's actually a UK power adapter. Yep, we have a UK plug on the end of it, which is fine. That's another thing which we don't typically have under our sinks, is we don't normally have essentially power under our sinks. So let me just move this out of the way for a second. So here's the filter that's going to fit underneath the sink. Under here, we also have the cartridges. So here's the reverse osmosis. They will plug in, and we will then use those and change those out. The other thing that we get is the tap. The tap is run off the back of the system, and it tells you the water quality. So here's the tap itself. Has a nice little display on it, and is all part of it. This was bought through Amazon, and I managed to get this through Amazon for just under £400 with all of the various modules inside it. So pretty pleased with that. Setup is essentially just underneath the kitchen sink, so we'll have a look at where it's going to be placed. So this is where we're going to install the unit under the sink. I already had a tap hole drilled in here, but it's too small, so I need to drill that out. Because we need power, I've had to pull power and make a little splitter extension lead for the dishwasher and for the power supply for the water unit, and the space will go in here. Now, I already have had a water filter system in this under area of the kitchen sink. The unit used to sit here, and we had to replace it every 2 years. And this had a feed from the mains water. I know it's the wrong side of the backflow, but that was the only spot that I could actually put it in, and I don't believe it's killed us off at this moment in time. So what I'm going to try and do, as this pipe is the same thickness as the white pipe from the cold water feed, I'm just going to use some excess of that connected to the back of the Waterdrop 600 unit, and hopefully it's a good enough watertight fit. They look the same diameter. On the outside, the hole in the middle of the blue one is a little bit narrower, so it could be that the flow rate isn't as strong, but we've got good mains pressure coming into the house. The other filter that we have in here is essentially a polyphosphate, and the polyphosphate is to take down the hardness in the water for the rest of the house. And this was the old tap that I've still got plugged in, because even though this turns off, it's not completely off, and there's a little drip of water that comes from it. So I'm a little worried that it would just drip overnight. So what I'm now going to do is drill the counter hole so that I can fit the pipe that will then feed the Waterdrop unit.